All right, welcome back to another stream for Unreal, technical art Unreal. We have a few things planned for today, mostly around our bunny and our bunny rabbit. I've been doing some R&D before this stream, trying to get some ears rigged up and stuff like that. And along the way of doing that, I've been making lots of mistakes and learning lots of things. So we're going to share some of the tips that I've learned about how we did the rigging, which we worked on last week. Hey, Audrey's here. Welcome. Audrey says, which I'm going to ruin with stupidities as usual. That's funny. It should be good. We have lots of things we have to do with this rabbit before it's actually working. We still got to like bring it into the scene, and then we got to like change our camera angle, and we got to do the animations, and we got to figure out how this is going to work. So hopefully we can get pretty good progress in these 2 hours. Dave's here, welcome. Some R7D in PowerShell is apparently, I think I would say RND. 7 is the ant key on my keyboard as well. And PowerShell, yeah, I've been doing a lot of things today. In fact, I just got off a meeting, like, this is why I'm about 5 minutes late, trying to talk about databasing and all sorts of fun things when it comes to back-end school management. So I have my ability to stay focused is extremely hard nowadays. But I did get some time in to do the R&D in for this bunny rabbit. So let's switch over to the screen here, and we can see where I left off before ran out of time basically. But I really wanted to see like how hard it was to add ear joints and bring some extra skeleton into the default rig. So it has been successful, but it did take a while. Noah, hello Simon. I think I've missed your previous video. It's Sean. Oh, hey Sean. Been a while with programming. All right. Well, welcome, Sean. It's nice to have you here. It's pretty cool that you're making it to my streams. Actually, it has been a while. I haven't talked to you in a bit. So hopefully you're enjoying your programming class. I did notice that you're enrolled in the Unreal program nowadays. And we got a Kitlet has joined and followed us. Well, thank you and welcome. I notice how you have to like squint very, very carefully. I've got this tiny little screen that represents what's going on, and I have to read it. But today we're going to talk about rigging and animating, hopefully. It's not really going to touch too much into Unreal. I actually did talk to Deepak. He's one of our new mentors that is going to help us with virtual production in our programs. And I asked him some questions about how to help me with this problem I'm having with the facial capturing with our Skull Chaser character that we've been doing in the previous weeks. And he's like, oh yeah, I totally had that same problem that you're having where you can't get the facial expressions to be very expressive. And then I went to take a look, and he looked at it and tried, and I didn't come up with anything. So it just seems like his works and mine doesn't. I'm gonna have to like really sit there and like start stripping it down and figure out what the heck's going on. Xander, welcome. Well, now I'm here. Yay, yay. Yay? 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 Maybe. We'll see. Depends if you're into this bunny rabbit rigging. I am trying to do this for Easter, so we can have an Easter bunny. That is my goal. And I found out recently that Easter's way closer than I thought it was. I thought it wasn't going to be till like the end of April, but apparently, or at least middle April, but apparently we've only got another week to go here. So I got to get this thing going, and we're going to get it into the actual scene, my backdrop of the western scene back here, and see if we can get an angle where it's bouncing around. I don't think I'm going to start from this particular point, although I have saved it and submitted it into Perforce so that I have backup of it. But I'm going to start from scratch again because there's some really cool stuff that I ran across as I was doing this, and I'd like to make sure that I share that with everybody because it's good. We're doing some custom joints on using the Torag auto rigging tool set that we discovered last week, and it's been really good. Like, in fact, I'm basically, if I ever have to rig anything, I'm just doing it this way because this is like now my standard go-to rigging technique for Maya. Maya's never really had a great like this is how you rig solution. There's always been Advanced Skeleton, and this does actually use Advanced Skeleton. And then there's like tons of auto riggers out there, but they all require plugins and they're very custom. And then if the animator wants to use it, they have to have that plugin or they have to do things. So this one is pretty good because I'm noticing that Advanced Skeleton is really having a good foothold into the industry. Every time I scroll through my LinkedIn, I see all sorts of really cool animations being used with the free rigs from Torog, like the dragons and dinosaurs and all kinds of stuff. And then there's this, I was just on their website, just a Facebook page there today, as I was searching for how to do bone joints. Here, let me just throw it up here. And even this character is apparently Advanced Skeleton. I didn't even know that. I remember we ran across that rig. You can buy it for, I think, like $50 or something. But it's like, I didn't realize it was actually using Advanced Skeleton. So lots of cool stuff. And if you scroll through, I think you can see the dragon piece, but I was just looking at a really cool, whoa, there's audio. A really cool dinosaur attack animation that I saw just earlier this week that I also picked up on and was like, hey, that's that free dinosaur rig from Turog. How do I spell his name? Turong? Or is that how I spelled it wrong the first time? And leave it to me to fail on my ability to spell properly. Hold on, I'm going to do it properly. We just have it in the libraries under library rigging. This is where you get the actual script from TRCR tool. Man, his name is a tough one to spell. I wonder how badly I'm pronouncing that. There we go. Wow, took me a while to get to his site. We do have it linked in the library channels as well, but I'll just see if I can find it. So these are all the free rigs. Most of them are free anyways. Some of them you do have to actually pay like $10 for or whatever, but there's tons of really awesome rigs in here. And you'll see, I'm starting to see a lot of these rigs just show up randomly, people's demo reels and stuff, and they're all using Advanced Skeleton. Well, 99% of them are using Advanced Skeleton, and so it's a pretty cool rig. All right, let's just get to the job here. Oh, Sarah's here. Welcome. Hey, Simon. Hey, creatives. Not here for long. I'm actually just making myself visit a friend to take a brain break before a big weekend of study. All right. That's all right. Sounds fun. Nice to be able to go and visit people. Kind of jealous. Audrey, that's what I do after eating hot pepper. Oh, is that with the fire guy? There was like a firehead guy. Oh no, the dragon with the fire breath. Man, I'm falling behind on my my posts here. I gotta keep up with that. Alright, I'm gonna rename this guy's character because it was actually, I'm noticing his name has got a semicolon in it, and a semicolon is actually a namespace. Or it's not a semicolon, it's just a colon, but it's a namespace, and I don't know, it's all kinds of trouble. So I'm just gonna call it Rabbit Mesh. And when you get the rig, I actually paid Turog $10 for his tool, so he's been paid for his services of a cool rig. He's only asking for $5 too, so it's pretty good. But anyway, when you get it, you download it, you get this Python file, and we're just going to review from what happened last week because it's kind of cool. So this is the Python file that I got, and you just copy it, put it into your script editor, paste it, and then you can run it and it will open up the interface. I've actually taken it and dragged it up into my shelf by just grabbing everything and it takes a while to load sometimes. Grabbing everything and middle mouse click, dragging it up here to make up a tool for it. I also had to have NG skin tool installed in order for this to work, so I do have NG skin tools installed. Oh, and also I think advanced skeleton has to be installed, but we covered that last week, so if you do want to see how I did that, I covered it pretty thoroughly because I couldn't get it working at first in the last version. Sarah says, oh, I forgot most people of the world can't visit people. Sorry. It's changing, but not where I live. Audrey, it's alright. It's because it's spring. See, again, I missed my cue for when I was supposed to read that. Riz! Hey, Riz is here. Welcome, Riz. I think we missed you last week. Elmer Fudd. Okay, I don't know what that means, though. Elmer Fudd. Did I run across an Elmer Fudd file? How you doing, Riz? Got any more animations going on lately? Okay, so when we do our rig, I have to open up the tool set, and there's some really neat stuff that I've learned through troubleshooting, just failing millions of times and then realizing what I'm failing for. So some of the interesting stuff that really came into play was when I was adding the extra joints, all kinds of weird little tricks came up. So we're going to cover some of that stuff. I'm going to grab my cat rig and we're going to import the fit skeleton from advanced skeleton so that we'll have like a default base cat. Notice I put the mesh in first and then that knew kind of the general size to work with. I'm pretty sure otherwise it just ends up being like a tiny little thing. So that was kind of cool. If you use these import extra limbs, you can use them, but they sort of like don't display properly on the top, and so it's not like they don't work, it's just that when you update your fit skeleton, all your tabs kind of switch into these mode and then you switch back into this mode. Bit of a strange thing. We may run across that as we move ahead here. Riz, actually I'm animating my land speeder fly. Oh yeah, right, I think you talked about that last time. So some of the things you got to do for this particular character is reduce the bone joints. So you're pretty free to do whatever you want to the skeleton. I can just start deleting stuff. In the back, I actually do want to keep the middle toe because I realized that there's quite a lot of foot here, and this is technically on a quadruped. This is usually like where the foot is, and then this is like an extended toe, so that the knee is actually up here. And so I actually do want that middle toe. I might get rid of one of the joints to simplify that down a bit. And then like the tail, I'm going to get rid of some of the joints so that it's not so big. Now I have noticed that if there is only 3 joints, it actually doesn't refresh. So right now I can update the fit skeleton. It just recalculates all the tabs up here. If I get rid of too many tail joints, it says list index is out of range. So I don't know what the deal is there, but don't delete the 4th tail joint and then it will just update fine. That was a weird one. My animation is 3,182 frames. Wow, that is really long. That's crazy. That's like how many minutes is that? Hardly ever work on anything more than 200 frames. Now, this problem when you're animating something that's 3,000 frames is that it's really could be very dry. So you have to be like very, like obviously lots of camera cuts, but also lots of like, you need to keep the pace going. So lots of content, lots of reasons why you're still watching. So usually what we do is we cut those, a really, really long scene like that into like each shot is a different Maya file, just to make sure that you're just focusing on that one piece. And then you don't have to worry about camera cuts or anything. And then you can also divvy it out so each animator gets its own Maya file. It's not really how it works in video games or cinematics as much, because usually you do a motion capture piece and you grab the whole entire scene all at once as a motion capture, and then you do the camera work afterwards. But for film, they split it up so that each shot is a file. As far as I know, I mean, at least from my experience in doing TV and stuff, I've never actually been in a film industry before. All right, we'll just get rid of all the fingers here, and then let's add some ears. Oh, also I was going to get rid of one of the neck joints. I don't need 2 neck joints, so just middle mouse click drag and reparent that. I considered getting rid of one of the spines, but I think I'm going to keep them in there because it actually lines up pretty good to the geometry. And so adding more joints, I just have to go to rigging and create joints. Couldn't find it for a minute there. And so when you create a joint, it goes at the very bottom, and then you just middle mouse click drag it to a joint that you want it to parent off of. So let's say this is going to be the breathing joint, which is something that I was going to do. I haven't really tested it, so hopefully it still works. So it's just a breathing joint. I don't have to position it because it's going to position it for me. Assuming that I assign it to some sort of geometry, of course. One thing I was supposed to practice in my R&D was figuring out how to use ng-skin tools. So I think that's where we're probably going to slow right down on our progress here. But I don't know, last week I think we almost just kind of went with what we had. Riz says, yes, that means with camera cuts. Yeah, okay. Camera cuts in Maya is really tricky, I find. You can get camera cut scripts that will automatically jump cameras from position to position based on pre-existing cameras, but or you could just animate the camera moving from spot to spot. Abby Yu, hopefully I'm saying your name right. Wow, you named that all bone. What? Did I do something crazy? You named that all bone. Riz is using Lightwave. I don't think a lot of people use Lightwave. I'm just naming this breathing. These joints have all been named automatically based off of Advanced Skeleton. And then I'm going to build the ear joints. So if you spot anything I'm doing that looks crazy, let me know. And I will figure out what I'm doing. So I'm gonna turn on grid snapping and then just build these joints. Whoops, I gotta first get out of that one. I'm just gonna build these joints along the grid. So for the ear, I'm gonna build one, so this will be the base of the ear, the middle of the ear, the top of the ear, and then sort of a null joint at the end. Or no, wait, maybe we'll put one more in there. Can always pull back, I guess. So in this case, I gotta like name them ear 01, or I think everybody's not using 01 for some reason. So ear 1, ear 2, ear 3. The reason why I R&D'd this is because I really didn't know whether or not this is actually gonna be doable. This particular part right here. Like, can you just make joints and stick them in there and it'll pick up on it? And turns out it will. And then you parent it to the head. So it kind of looks like a mess, but it like I said, it'll get to the right place when we start doing the skinning. And let me save this as one of the versions. So one thing I did find that a lot of these files will actually like make irreversible mistakes. So you really have to stay on top of oops, I haven't checked that file out yet. Stay on top of saving different iterations. I've got them all checked out in source control. I've actually like submitted the version we did last week, and then now I'm working on another iteration on top of that. so I can always go back to it, but I'm still keeping the different numbers so I know whereabouts it was that I left off when I saved it. Okay, and then, so I should be able to say update fit skeleton, and now it's going to incorporate all of the new joints that I put in. But notice how it shows just FK0. This is the middle toe 1 and 2. This is the extra joints that I left in just for the back of the foot. And it's almost like it's like the second page of tabs rather than like it didn't work properly. Because if I do update fit skeleton again, then it shows the rest of the joints except for those ones. So you can see the root and the elbow and the fingers and the legs. There's the tail ones. Here's the face one, including the new ears that we just added. Why is there 6 ears? Oh. Oh, okay. Oh. I just put another ear at the end. Oh wait, there is an ear 6 in there. That's weird. Must have did a typo. So we'll go back and we'll say update fit skeleton again. It'll just show you page 2, and we do it again, and it'll show you page 1. That one kind of freaked me out for a while. I thought it was breaking, but it turns out it's just supposed to do that. Riz has been using Lightwave since 2005. Apparently you like Lightwave a lot. I don't know, personally I kind of like haven't really looked at Lightwave since 2005 basically, just because it's like it sort of had its thing, but I haven't really gone back to it, especially in the video game industry. Nobody really uses Lightwave. But because I don't use Lightwave, I can't really give you a good opinion about whether it's good or not, because I really just don't know much about it. Okay, so that gives us all of the different pieces. I think I've remembered everything. This is easy to say now, but then pretty soon I'll be like, oh shoot, I forgot something. So what we're gonna do is we'll make it so that we can't select joints, which just basically turns off that button up there. And then we'll start grabbing the, oh wait, joints display, that's even better. I don't have to see the joints in the way. And so what we're gonna do now is just start assigning the geometry to the different joints, and which is what we did last week. So we are gonna grab the jaw, I guess, first of all. So just start picking faces. It's very important that you put on World Z at this stage, so you don't have to, you're picking both sides at the same time. And then you just assign it to the jaw, hides the mesh, so you know you've already used it for something. Oh, Pietro's here. Hey, man. Another familiar face. It's going good, Pietro. Hopefully it's going good for you too, late at night like this. Actually, it's probably a little bit earlier this, because you haven't done your time zone shift. Riz, I used it at NASA. Oh my goodness, Riz. Every time. Always got something crazy to say. Alright, well, I don't know what to say about it. If you use it at NASA, I'll be like, wow, that's really amazing. I don't know. I didn't realize NASA was using Lightwave. Abby, man, I'm probably saying that terrible. Abby, let's say Abby. What Maya version are you using? Oh, I'm using 2020.4 apparently. Oh yeah, right there on the top of the screen. Pietro answered it for me. Nice job. Pietro's so great. He answers everything. Nice job, by the way, Pietro, for answering questions on Slack like a madman. It's awesome. I'm like totally enjoying getting to watch questions get answered by themselves. It's really good. We keep talking about it. Everybody's like, oh, man, this student assistant thing is awesome. We should have done this years ago. These people going around answering questions for us, saving us the trouble. So we're probably going to expand that concept a little further once we get a little more time to settle on that. Abby, okay. Audrey says, Riz is out there in space. Audrey's right. Audrey nailed it. Abby, yep. Abby is good. Abby's good. There you go. I got the good name. There you go. I probably made that mistake in previous weeks, in fact. Riz, I was interning at NASA in 2005. Oh, right. Okay, that's great. That is very cool. I like that you've added the interning part. It makes it a lot more of a believable story. Otherwise, I'd be like, Dude, what do you mean you were at NASA? That's crazy. Pietro. I record tutorials too. Oh man, that's amazing. We totally need that help. It's great because it means the students can actually like ask a question and know they'll get an answer, as opposed to me just scrambling around trying to find answers and not really half the time sure whether or not I got the right answer or not. Owldra. Owl. Hello. Oh wait, Owldra. Oldra. Childra. I forget how it goes now. Let's just say owl. I like this short form thing. It works way better. Hello, welcome. Again. Pietro, I just avoid X-Gen questions. Oh my goodness. Tell me about it. I have had an X-Gen question this week. It was really hard. Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, just wanted to use X-Gen. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I don't know this one very well. X-Gen is like, it's always been a mystery to me on how exactly you get anything to work. So then we just jumped over to MetaHuman and said, look how awesome X-Gen can make grooms. It's beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Alright. Let's keep going with the eye. Oh yeah, we should do the ears. So let's see here. 1, 2. So when you're doing these skinnings, make sure you start at the easiest parts first. So we're doing the tips of limbs and all this stuff because they're easiest to select, and then you work your way to the core of the body where it's much harder to figure out which piece goes where. So we're gonna go to the tip of the ear or the one before the ear. So this is ear 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we'll do that. And then wherever the geometry is that you select is where they're going to try to put the joint in the averaged position of those selections. So you don't really have to worry too much about where they're going to be. Just make sure you pick all the faces you need. And you can actually go back if you do make a mistake. You can always hit the X button and it will revert it back, and then you can reselect it and restart it again. Even if it's like, you know, quite a bit back in your process, so you can make corrections if necessary. Owldra. Owl says, moving over to YouTube because Twitch won't let me speak. Oh, really? Yeah, I got your hello. Maybe, oh, you said something that got blocked. Apparently it claimed your comment was profanity. Laugh. Oh, I see. It's the LMAOO. Apparently that's profanity. I think I'll just allow that. Because you can always just say whatever you want when it's a short form. Laugh my apples off, for example. I'll just says it's too strict. Yeah, I think that we had a really good one the other day where somebody was like said something that was so. Oh, was it? Yeah, we were talking about facial animations, and apparently facial was too profane to allow that to be on Twitter, or on Twitch. So I had to like allow that specifically. That was a good one. Audrey, laughing real hard is now censored. That's isn't that ironic? It is funny. Alright, that will do that for the last year. Alright, so this is the head. I put the whiskers in there. I'm definitely not going to bother worrying about the whiskers. This character is going to be quite far away from the camera, so I'm probably already overkilling it with the breathing joint, but I thought it might be kind of a fun thing to play with. And the worst case scenario, it's just going to move with the spine anyway, so hopefully, although maybe not with this rig. Alright, so this is the head. And then I've already done this like 3 times today because of my mistakes and flaws and crashes and all kinds of weird stuff. This is neck 01. This is our neck. Alright, I'm going to save this as rig 2. Abby says, whether it's a project you're working on or just playing with the bones. Oh, is that a question? I'm going to put this rabbit into the western backdrop behind me for Easter. So he'll be our Easter bunny. But I have a very short deadline on that one. But he's just having fun, but he's actually a really nice example to try out this new rigging that I hadn't used before, and I'm pretty happy with it, so or at least so far. And so I think it's a nice reason to do a little recap from last week so that we can carefully cover all this in a nice simple way. So we're going to do fingers. And then wrist. And actually what's nice about this low poly character is that it's actually very, very easy to skin anyways. So not only does it fit well with what I need to get done, but it also is a great piece to work with when you're trying to like talk about basic rigging. The more polys you add to your mesh, the harder it is to rig, because the more likely you're going to have anomalies that just don't quite look correct. Back in the day, it was a lot easier with low poly video games to get stuff made. It just keeps getting harder and harder, which is good though. It means more jobs. Scapula seems good. All right, so go to the other one, and we have. We don't have our toes yet. Oh yeah, so I gotta go and switch to the update fit skeleton to get the second page so that I can go in here and grab the middle toes. I only have 2 toes to work with, so which is fine. So this is the foot, this is the toe. Might do the whole front part here as 1 toe. I haven't actually done this part properly yet. Do this part as the second toe, and then we'll switch to the other page where we're going to grab Owl says, so what are you doing right now? I'm guessing you're grouping different areas. I know nothing about rigging. Yeah, this is a very unusual way to approach rigging, and it's kind of, I mean, I've never run across anybody who's done it this way before. And what we're doing is we're assigning geometry to what the joint will influence, so that it allows the joint to know where to be sitting position-wise to properly rotate. So it saves us from having to do that job, but it also knows how to do the skinning and rough out the skinning. It's using NG skinning tools, so it's kind of got a fairly intelligent process of applying the skinning anyways, but we're kind of doing 2 things at once by selecting this geometry and assigning it to one of the joints, which is fairly cool. So this is the foot, which is going to be the ankle. I guess I didn't put anything for toes 1. That's going to be a problem. Do kind of feel like that's going to be a problem. Well, there we go. Now we get to show you how to undo stuff. So I'm going to remove these ones by hitting the X button. And I think I'm going to take the geometry here and assign it to middle toe 1 instead. Oh, this is where things get tricky. We have a piece of geometry here that doesn't always look normal. Sean says, Simon, is it easier to work with 2020 or 2018 with skinning? Seems like the process with the channel window you're working on is more clear. A personal opinion. I haven't really seen too much problem with 2020. And 2018 wasn't too bad either, so I don't think it matters too much which version you use in those particular instances. I know a lot of companies are still using 2016, and I mean maybe they've changed that, but there was a pretty big jump between 2016 and 2017, and a lot of companies didn't actually do it. But I just heard yesterday that 2021 has been released for Maya, and I haven't even looked yet to see what it looks like. So maybe we could do that right now, once I figure out what I'm doing here. Toes 1. See, we're getting some hidden meshes that are showing up, which is concerning me. We'll just ignore that as if it works. We'll figure it out later. And then we'll do this as our ankle, and this as our knee, and this as the hip. Alright, and I'm going to save that. Because I screwed stuff up, I'm definitely not going to save it the same version. I don't know if it's screwed up, but just in case. And let's go see if we can find what's going on with Maya 2021. Oh yeah, no, it's Maya 2022. They just skipped Maya 2021. They're like, ah, whatever. You don't need to do Maya 2021. Oh, maybe not. Maybe they did have Maya 2021. I don't know. I don't remember hearing about it though. Oh, I'm not sure what I'm looking at right now. Let's see here. What's new in Maya 2022? I saw it. There it is. Oh, that's API. Is this Maya 2020? Okay, here we go. Oh, here it is. Very first one. Let's see what we got. Audrey, wait, what year are we? Second there, I forgot. Yeah, Maya always is a year ahead of the year that you actually get it. But there was a bit of a weird confusion in Maya 2019, I think it was, where they were so late that it almost came out on time. I think it came out January 2019 and it was supposed to be Maya 2019 or something. Everybody was like, is there really going to be a Maya 2019? And then, yeah, so I just stopped following after that because I'm like, I don't think they even know what they're doing. Ooh, support for Python 3. Wow, that's a big jump. I wonder if it's going to be like you have to be Python 3 or it'll just be like you can switch to it. That was like the first thing I noticed was Python 3. That's so nerdy. USD plugin for Maya. Oh, that's pretty good. You can use universal scene description files by default without having to install a plugin. Animation ghosting. Don't see how that actually gives me a demonstration of animation ghosting. The bubbles? Okay. Maybe it's supposed to be like a visual effect. Or is it really just supposed to be for animation? Because I'm pretty sure they have ghosting already. And I'm surprised that the octopus itself is not ghosting, which would have... That means if that's the case, then you have a skinned mesh that can ghost, which is something you can't do currently. What tags with deformers? Okay. You can name a selection of verts. I don't know how that works, what that's for. Bitfrost update. I don't know much about Bitfrost, so I'm not sure what's different between that and the previous version. Graph editor improvements. Oh, here we go. Peak removal filter. Ah, that'll be useful for mocap. Whoa, that was a destructive curve filter. Holy cow. Oh, okay. There we go. For noise. Yeah, this is interesting. They're really implementing a lot of like motion capture cleanup tools here. They always had sort of like filters, but I don't ever remember them being very useful. Reserve tangent for added keys. Oh, I see. It lines up to the curve for you. Wait, that's with it turned off. That's so with it turned on, it doesn't line up to the curve? What does that mean? Or it lines up to the keys. Oh, okay, it's actually going straight line to the key itself, not to the actual direction of the curve. Don't ever remember that being a problem before, so I'm not sure why that's a feature, but sweep mesh. So extrude a long curve? What? Alright. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Maybe they're taking something that's good from somewhere else, I'm not sure. Abby says, is that okay using triangles? Because I see some triangles in your poly mesh. Is that illegal? In my poly mesh, it is quads and triangles, yeah. It's the only downside with using triangles is that you lose your edge flow. So you can't just sort of, when you're modeling, you can't just grab an edge and then get a loop to go all the way around. It'll sort of break wherever there's a triangle or an n-gon. So it's a good practice to kind of keep triangles out of the workflow if you can, because you don't need to break your edge flow if you don't need to. But when was this helpful? Tick no. Was that one of the options? Was this website helpful to you? No. But if you whenever you export all this mesh to Unreal, it's all just going to get triangulated anyway. So it doesn't really matter in terms of your, the quality of the product you're going to get in the end of the day. It's just more about your workflow and how easy it is to model using quads over triangles. So, and like if you're using like a bevel tool or something, it's also trying to use your edge flow to determine where to go. So there's lots of benefits when you're working in Maya to keep that topology right. Arnold Maya 4.21 plugin includes glowing humans. I don't know, I assume that's like a ambient skeletal mesh. I mean, an animated character. I don't know why that's assumed you could do that before, but this must be something different. I guess technically when you do an ambient, you don't get that bloom effect on the edges. That was something that we'd always kind of cover in our... Sometimes you do like a lightsaber and it's like you don't get that bloom. So maybe that's what that is all about. Great VR for Maya. Whoa! VR for Maya. Whoa! Didn't see that coming. Wow. They're really trying to compete with Blender on that one. Crazy. Pietro, thanks Autodesk, bye! Yeah, I know. Poor Autodesk. No love. Yeah, the extrude along curve, new function. Yeah. That's it's a great feature. They should have made that like 20 years ago, I think. Pietro says, startup experience improvements, finally something life-changing. Startup experience improvements. Is that one of the things? Oh yeah, there it is. Startup improvement experience. So it's not going to take half an hour to load. Oh man, that's so awesome. The number of times I've sat there waiting for this thing to load. It just got so slow in 2020. It's funny how they're advertising that it's faster start times, as if like we were making progress, but it's actually like it had to revert. Now we're going back to where we were before. No longer steals focus from startup, during startup. Oh, remember the state of the output window. Okay. Ability to copy specific preferences from previous install. That might be a problem, but whatever. You're trying to clean reboot, clean install, but maybe not. A new, more informative splash screen. Oh, it tells you what is loading, maybe. Optimizations, I'm going to spit up. Copy old preferences. Oh, you get to say which preferences you want to copy instead of everything. All right, that's kind of cool. What else is there? Anything else cool? Cache playback improvements. It might be good. I actually don't use it very much, so I don't know. Rococo motion library plugin. Do you get access to the captured assets? Or is it just if you have a Rococo, it's easy to use? I really think they're trying to kill Motion Builder. We keep talking about it as if that, you know, one day they're probably going to discontinue Motion Builder, but based on their attack of trying to like integrate mocap into easier into Maya is just one more step away from making Motion Builder relevant. And then the curve filtering for motion capture as well. Not that they really can get rid of Motion Builder that easy, because it's actually very much integrated into a lot of studio workflows, but they haven't really changed it for so many years. Human IK neck motion reduction settings. See, more mocap optimizations here. Memorize movements from the neck to the body. Oh yeah. That's pretty good. Audrey, I swear, I got a phone call, panicked, and didn't even answer. Yeah. You know you're antisocial when a phone call makes you panic. No, I hear you. I have the same phone call anxiety, especially since like 99% of your phone calls are not people. Like, I don't know how they're expecting me to think that an actual phone is a useful device in your life when nobody ever uses it except for spam calls. It doesn't seem very functional anymore. It's like, I'll just use the internet, thanks. Audrey, I'm a millennial. Phones are not used like that anymore. Yeah. Except for when you're talking to like your parents or something, and then they're like, I don't know how to communicate with you. Can you please get a phone? Like, all right, on the phone. Yeah. Use the English language? What? I guess for you it could be also the French language. Alright. Oh look, the other foot didn't even disappear. That boy, I am definitely feeling uncomfortable about how good this is going. I do have World X on still though. Good thing I've saved it just before I did all that crazy revert stuff. Pietro, really gotta go, man. Was a pleasure saying hi. See you soon. Take care. Happy streaming. All right, you too, Pietro. I gotta check out your streams. Pietro's got a Twitch stream as well, but his is more like game playing, but still pretty cool. It's getting late for Pietro anyway, so fair enough. Audrey says, my dad, as any European, does not speak. He just mumbles. Bye, Pietro. Have a good night. Pietro, oh, don't. Only cursing in Italian. Not a good show. Oh, is that your Twitch stream? Yeah, that's true. This may not be in English. It might be a very important fact to keep in mind. Oh, I thought it was cool. It's a nice presentation anyway, as Pietro usually does. Okay, so we gotta do the tail. We start at the end of the tail. This is tail 3, 2, 1. Oh no, I don't think I can do 3. I'll just start on tail 2. Tail 1. That is tail 0. Okay, and then we got those ones already. Just have to do the torso. So, and we have the breathing, which I don't actually see in here. Breathing did not get put in there. That's what happened last time too. I just forgot all about it. Well, that's too bad. Why is that joint not getting picked up? Alright, well I guess I haven't figured out all the mysteries yet. Audrey, Italian's insults are the best. Pietro says thank you. Alright. Root. And let's see here. Spine 1 can be... maybe we should do these as a root. Definitely going to find out here whether or not this is a disaster to have those loose pieces around or not. Two. Alright, so in this case I'm going to do it so that, because the next one's chest, I'm going to do more on the top for spine 3 and then more on the bottom for chest. Oops, pick the faces. Okay, I think we're done. So we'll see what happens here when we do the next step, which maybe we'll save it first. It's 4. And then we'll place joints into places is the first button that I'm going to click on. And it's going to move all the joints around. Currently don't have joints displayed, but I can just turn that on in a second here. There we go. So we got those joints put in place. There are a couple ones that go a little bit weird, like this one, which is normal. Turn on joint selection, turn off face selection. And if you change your joint to press D to make it pivot adjustable, you can move it around. We've got grid snapping on, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm not sure if I have fit and adjust. Uh-oh, that didn't work. And my skeleton is invisible. Oh boy. Alright, I'll just click it again. I'll turn that on. There we go. Alright, so I don't understand what toggle fit and oh, adjust is not adjust, it's advanced. Alright. And we still have this extra joint out here. Oh yeah, but if I delete that joint, it messes everything up, so don't do that. We're going to put this joint into the right place. Doesn't matter, but that one so much. Ears actually worked out pretty good. This is the top null node, so it doesn't have any influence. That's why I didn't know where to go, but just put it somewhere that looks correct. But basically the last influence is this joint down here. Okay, and that's pretty much where I started from an hour ago. Except for I closed it, started over. I'm gonna save that again. And I do notice that the back foot is invisible, which is not a good sign at all. So what's going on is when they break it down, all these little meshes get split up into little chunks. And so I must have gotten that chunk stuck in here. So you can see the pieces are still there. Some of them are duplicated, but I think this... Oh, no, sorry. It's these ones. Mesh to be cut again. Yeah, we definitely broke something along the lines there. These are all still split up as individual meshes as well, but we're missing these guys. I think what I might do is just manually move them. Get rid of those ones. Rabbit cut, that must be the raw one. This mesh. I'm hoping that by doing this, I'm going to fix it. It's possible. I'm not going to fix it. But it would be a lot easier than my alternative. Because sometimes the script will just call it based on its name, so as long as you have the name there, it'll just use it. Alright, so we'll go with that, and I'm just going to save it because at this point, if I have to go back, I gotta go back quite a couple versions anyways. And we're going to do, I think, the big fun button, which is the build advanced skeleton, which does the whole thing all at once, and it's important that I don't click anything while I'm waiting for it to do this. Think it's still going? Uh-oh, it's done. That's not looking correct anymore. Oh, okay. It probably is fine. Just the controls are really, really tiny. Whew. Hope so, anyway. So we're going to do adjust curve control curves, which is our second thing. which basically just identifies, there we go, it looks better, the sizing of the geometry. Again, a good reason why the geometry gets used, because it gives you a good determination of how big the controls have to be. And then at this point we can just kind of make some adjustments as needed. For example, this control I'm going to get rid of. And we got some ear controls in there. That's working out pretty good. We got our eye controls. Kind of where we were last time. Oh, now I know what this button does. It changes between your joints and your rig. And we're going to try and get this to a point where we can start animating soon. Alright, body controls. They look kind of big, but that's pretty decent. These controls were a bit crazy. And I can just change one side, and then there's a right to left option. So I'm going to grab the verts of this controller. Oops, not that one. Shoot. I seem to just grab the one without grabbing the other. And we're going to move that up and then mirror it over. Not in build pose. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but probably not helping that I'm in object mode when I'm trying to click that button there. Okay, let's do it. Probably it was the tail they were talking about. Maybe it's because I deleted that thing. This is the nerve-wracking stage where everything I do could potentially break everything. And it's pretty normal when you're doing rigging that you're always on this verge of like, it might all break, and we're done. Hence why we keep saving multiple versions. Because it's pretty easy to do. Let's just save as. Okay. What do we do next? Figure controls, bind skin to mesh. Okay, so that's the next big step. I'm gonna grab I don't know if I have to grab anything. It already knows what the bind skin mesh needs to be, so I'm just gonna do bind. And we'll see what happens here. Really need like a confirmation window or something. Oh, it worked. All good. Okay, so this is where we were last week, where we were like trying to decide whether we should modify the skinning so that it looks a little bit better, or do we use the set smooth to be a little bit stronger so that the blend can be a little bit less severe. And I think realistically it does have to be a bit more softer than that. But unfortunately, because we have such a few number of joints, pretty much get into one problem or the other. I don't know, I think I kind of disagree with my previous plan there, because this, I forgot everything scales down. And then when you switch it, you can't go back, so at least that's what was happening before. So I gotta reopen the file. And then the theory was, okay, well then if we can't just pick that generic number, we have to go in there and balance it manually. However, one of the benefits of animation and rigging is that you don't actually have to have a complete rig to start animating. All you need to have is the controllers in the right place and the joints in the right place, and then you can animate and do your skinning fixes later. And it won't make any difference, except for the fact that the animator won't necessarily be able to see the final result as they're animating, but it won't affect the fact that the animation is still done. So we'll bind the skin meshes. We'll just work with what we got here for really minimal movement here, which I think if the rabbit's not doing too much, it kind of works. But yeah, stuff like in the back here would be ideal if we could change that. So let's try launching the NG skin tool and see if we can do a little bit of tweaks, because it's such a low poly character. It should be pretty easy to make some pretty good changes. Clicked on the launch NG skin tool and I'm waiting for something to pop up. I don't know, nothing's popping up though. It would be alright, let's try it this way. Great proxy meshes, which is good if you have a really high poly mesh and you want to make it low poly, but I'm not going to bother doing that. Man, I cannot get this thing to open here. Let's see here. Oh, it is open. It's just over here. Beneath my OBS window. Bring it back over here. So we got the rabbit shape skin cluster selected. Interesting that the auto attach deformed props. So when you're first starting off, there's this option to add props. Oh shoot, maybe not. Where was I seeing that? Oh yeah, deformed mesh prop meshes and non-deformable mesh props, which could be useful if they've got like a backpack on or something. And then at the build, at the very end here, it's talking about how you can auto attach those deformed props to your final skinned mesh. Makes sense you do it in that order. And then you could create joints for those pieces if they had to like shake and have secondary action or something. Maybe that's how the breathing should have been done, I don't know. It seems like it stripped the whole joint out from the breathing, so interesting. It might have also been because it's a joint that was connected to like a symmetrical part of the character, so I don't know whether that had anything to do with it. Like it was like in the center, maybe it strips it out that way. These ears on the other hand were like obviously on one side of the face. Anyways, doesn't matter. So what I want to do is figure out how to like modify some of the skinning. So initialize skinning layers. See if we can get this to you just toggle that rig off. Alright, what do you need me to do to get it into skinning mode? Base weights. We're looking at spine joints. Copy influence weights, cut influence weights. Invert. Oh, do I have to click paint? Ah, there we go. So the white ones are the actual joints that we're working with here. Line 3. I want to take a little bit influence from that arm. So, see here, what do we got for brush radius, intensity. Got it kind of laid out quite a bit different. Stylus pressure. Ooh, stylus pressure. We're guess from stroke. Relax. Edit weights. Assign weights from closest joint. Assign unify weights. Prune weights. What does that do? Seem to be just adding. Must be in the paint section. Just lower the intensity. Hey B&Q, welcome. We're just using NG skin tools right now, trying to get our rabbit painted. We kind of just did a recap for the first hour from last week as we establishing some of the new workflows that I've learned through R&D, and then also adding our ears to our influence. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of paint weights here to reduce the influence on the arm. And I'm not used to, I've never used NGs. Oh, here we go. I just have to scroll up a little bit. All right, so we're in replace mode. There's all kinds of discussions about how to do skinning. And I usually, personally, I use additive skinning and just make the intensity very low. That way you're always kind of like getting brighter. And there's like a whole complex theory in terms of how skinning is very difficult. And I'm not sure, I'm hoping that NG skinning has like some sort of fail-safes that makes it a little easier for people, because it's always a very frustrating experience for everybody. Eddie, hey. Hey Eddie. Hey Simon, what's this for a mobile game? I mean, since it's so low poly. Yeah, it's actually not for low poly or for mobile, but it's supposed to be far away in the distance, and it's a free asset that I got off online. So I wasn't really too concerned about the fact that it is actually, it makes it really easy to talk about skinning and rigging when it is super low poly. So it's kind of working in my favor right now. But the rabbit itself is supposed to be like this far away or something. So it doesn't really matter that it's low poly. And it's got a pretty good texture on it. So it should be okay. And plus, when you got furry characters, it's really the fur that matters. And so, in theory, if we were ambitious, we could try to talk about how to do a fur groom on the rabbit, but it's like way over my head, so I don't really know exactly how to just throw that onto a character. But if the fur was there, you would have a really nice looking character, even if it was super low poly like this. B&Q, Eddie woke up and chose violence. Just kidding. Eddie's like, what? I have never seen anyone use this color mode with the paint weights. A few times I've done it and it's been black and white. Yeah, no, you're totally right. Usually with the traditional Maya painting skin weights, it's just black and white, or there's an option at the bottom when you can switch it to colorized. So it gives you like, I think it's blue if it's at 0, but then it goes to like another cut, so you can see if it's got like a, or no, how does it go? It's black and then blue is the first color, and then it goes through a range, so you can see if there's like a 0.001 influence on something. But this is using NG Skin Tools, which is it's not a, well, it's a free plugin for educational reasons, but it's not, if you're actually in a studio, you have to pay for this plugin. But it's well known, it's probably like your best option for skinning that is, you know, an improvement over what Maya skinning is. Significant. Yeah, so NG skinning tools, it does that. NG skinning tools is really good. Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. This is the first time I've used it, so I'm not gonna say that I'm like, I know what I'm doing. But I usually always just do skinning through the Maya tools. But this was a good excuse to finally get into it and try it out. A lot of the work has already been done through the automatic process of using Turong's auto rigger, and so we just went through that process of pushing the button, which was bind skin to meshes, and so that's where we're kind of at. We didn't really like do very much to get to this point, but one of the problems is because it's so low poly that the oh shoot, stop pushing the wrong button. That the you can really start to see that sharp contrast between the different shapes. Like what I should do is key this. Eddie says, I remember seeing it like 10 years ago. NG skin tools? I didn't think it was 10 years old. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. 5 years at least. When I worked on skinning, I learned that using the component editor is really good. Is that where you get all the numbers listed in an actual like list? I have seen people use that workflow and swear by it, but it's good if you're trying to like clear up all the zeroing. To be honest, the real trick that I found when you're skinning is to use additive instead of replace, and it kind of solves the problem for you. Which right here, add, replace. It's the same tool set really. It's just this one's an NG skinning. It's a whole theory about how you skin and how you're supposed to like not take away, because then the computer has to figure out where it's going to be replaced with, because each vert has to be influenced by something unless you've got it locked. So then you have to like, so when you're editing, you're not worrying about the computer automatically replacing the missing percentages of influence per vert, and then you can just kind of like work through it. You work through it from the core of the body out to the limbs, and you can kind of get it done in 1 or 2 passes. Still takes a long time. So you have a spreadsheet like vertex weights. Yeah, that's right. That's I haven't used the component editor. That's the only time I may have actually used the component editor. I don't usually get into that one. And yes, and you are using my 2022 now? Question mark. I just finished talking about it. In fact, I think we still got a web page up somewhere. We were just looking at the new features and discussing what they are and which ones are cool. Seems like a lot of animation stuff, which is interesting, but I don't know. Not really too anxious to move on to the new version. I never usually am, but then all the students end up using it, so I have to move over because I'm opening it in the wrong version all the time. And to be quite honest, it was kind of nice not having a version Maya 2021, so I got a whole year there where I didn't have to do this whole like software switch conversion. But I'll probably have to move to 2022 eventually. It's not usually very fun using the new version of Maya because they kind of let the users beta test it. So you're spending half your time trying to figure out why a thing crashed. Eddie says, I saw the Autodesk Zoom meeting yesterday. Oh, okay, I didn't know they had a Zoom meeting. I felt some of the things they showed aren't really new. Yes, that was what we were joking about. Like the sweep mesh. We're like, wait, isn't that just extrude along a curve? I mean, there must be something that's kind of cool about this, but it doesn't seem that revolutionary. And then these ones are like filters, which is like, yeah, I think they had filters before that. But these must be like nice filters where they like do a good job or something. But yeah, I swear they had filters before that were like doing the same kind of job. There always was I think there was a USD plugin, but now I guess it's integrated, which is great. Tags for deformers, I don't even know what to think of that. Yeah, I don't know. There might be some good stuff in there, but it's not like the mic drop that most softwares are doing these days, where you just like get a release and you're just like, whoa, it's crazy. Big thing about cache playback that's been in Maya for a year, I think came out in 2019. Yeah, that's right, it did come out in 2019. But yes, it's on steroids. The spike filters are cool. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what the filters are for when you're dealing with motion captures, to deal with spikes and stuff, but oh yeah, steroids for the other ones. What we were joking about was they have a startup experience improvements, which was a feature, but like, I don't know, my experience with Maya 2020 is it's been really slow. So it's like it went from pretty good load speeds to wow, it's super slow. So now they're promoting this as like a new feature. We've sped it up again. And you're like, well, that's kind of a dirty trick. We slowed it down so that next year we can say we just sped it up. The extrude along curve you talked about, I mean. Oh, the spike filters. Oh, wait, there's spike filters for the extrude along the curve? The sweep thing? It's very cool and intuitive and fast. The USD times are super fast. Oh, that's good. I haven't actually used the USD workflow as of yet, so I know it's pretty cool, but I haven't actually bothered to try to figure it out. But I could see if you were in a big production, the USD would be like, wow, that is the best solution ever. Anyways, I'm sure there's some good stuff in there. It's the subtlety between it. It's just hard to decipher. There we go. All right, so we're back to what we're doing here. I was gonna make some keys on this controller. Key selected. And so what I want to do is make it so that it moves around on its own, so that I can test it. Man. And then we jump back into our NG skinning tools. Grab our mesh, toggle off the controls, and go back to paint mode. Yeah, there's not much you can do in this case. You've only got like 4 verts, so it's like, I don't know. It's gonna be about what it's gonna be. Eddie says, I like the new selection sets, or what they were called. But I feel even that was possible before, albeit a bit more cumbersome. They have new selection sets, do they? I mean, that selection set, the current setup for selection sets was there when I first learned Maya back in 2002 or whatever. And like, it hasn't changed at all. So if they've added anything to improve selection sets, I'll be impressed. But they've actually suddenly decided that that needed improvement. Haven't seen it though. Am I looking at it and just not noticing it? Slider bookmark movements. By remove rapid or sweep mesh security pressures. Component tags. Unless this is it. Do you mean component tags for deformers? It's kind of like a selection set. except for it's for components as opposed to objects. It was like you could make a region on the mesh and then made that a set that you could connect stuff to via the attribute editor. Oh, you can connect stuff to it. Okay, this is what we're talking about. I wonder what you would do with it. Like, what would be an example of how this would be useful? Oh, a new morph deformer works with component tags to let you automatically convert automatic vert lookup tables. You can easily transfer deformations across geometry and create vert lookup tables with the component node. Yeah, I can see that being useful. New poly unite attributes. What? Sets of faces versus. Yeah, might be cool. Ah, they showed some good examples of it. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll definitely have to keep my eye on those kind of things to see if there's a way that you can improve the workflow. I was just using bookmarks the other day, finding that pretty useful. Because as I was doing face targets, I was like bookmarking, labeling each frame, which, I mean, I never would have thought that was something that I needed, but it actually worked out pretty good. And then we just threw in a script and collected all the names. So it had a purpose. Spine 3, I'm going to take a little bit more off of the arm here. Whoa, okay. I'm missing a bunch of stuff here. Oh yeah, they did manage to work in Unreal. Did that manage to work in... Oh, we're talking about the face targets. Oh yeah, so I'm still working on that. We never actually got the face targets to run real time. I was talking to one of our other mentors who is in virtual production, who's actually done a fair bit of work with that kind of stuff, and we couldn't identify a difference between his setup and my setup. So I have to sit back and go through it, and I think just basically delete things and rebuild them and see if we can get it working again, which may not take that long to do really, but I have no guarantee that that's actually going to fix anything. So I don't know. Right now I'm trying to get this rabbit ready for Easter, so I'm putting this on a priority, and then I'll get back to the Skull Chaser after that. B&Q says I missed a couple streams. Well, you didn't. Basically, what we did last stream, we're pretty much doing again today, because I went back and added some ears and stuff, ear joints, and now I'm doing a little bit better of a job with the skinning. Even though I'm kind of going overkill, but I'm trying to learn how to use NG skins right now. Eddie says, "Are you into Blender at all?" I have not used Blender very much. I basically downloaded it, looked at it, and then didn't barely ever use it because it's just one of those scenarios. If you don't have a reason to use it, it's just really hard to sit down and actually use it because you don't know what it is that you're trying to do with it. Same with NG skin tools, for example. Like, until I actually have a reason to use it, it's hard to actually justify doing it. Eddie says we can talk about mind-blowing stuff in Blender. Yeah, there you go. Blender is all about the mic drops. Eddie says just Blender's grease pencil alone was amazing. Yeah, the grease pencil is an awesome feature. In fact, that's interesting that you brought that up because it's oh, B&Q is talking about different EQ says, did you try using a different iPad though? Okay, well, I only own one iPad, so no, I did not try using a different iPad. I did. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not the issue, because I can see, obviously I'm getting some movement from the iPad where the head's moving around, and I can see the mouth move a little bit. So there's something happening there. And if I use it with the MetaHuman or whatever, I'm getting full results. So there's nothing there that shouldn't be a problem. But so it's something about my setup, and I think it's because I started off with such rough tests. There's something being cached or something being stored that isn't giving me the right data, and so I should just like delete it, start over, and then see if that actually fixes it or not. This VR thing is kind of like a grease pencil thing going on here. I don't know if they're trying to steal that from Blender or what, but it's the first time I've ever seen anybody try and do an illustration 3D thing in Maya before. So kind of interesting that they've decided to throw that. I think Blender will take a huge chunk of the market eventually, ... Well, at least that's my opinion. It seems like they've always been trying to do that. One day. Eddie said, I think my grease pencil is not even worthy of using the same name. My opinion doesn't even deserve the title. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm just amazed that they actually went down that direction. It looks more like Dreams VR. Oh yeah. Oh, it could very well be. Maybe that's really where they're... I mean, it's definitely a VR thing, which is kind of going in its own direction. I don't know, Maya and Autodesk comes up with all these features and then nobody ever uses them and then they just disappear. It's hard to tell whether that's actually a real feature or whether it's just sort of like a sensational thing. But... Oh, what was the... There was something else you were going to say that you brought up. Do you know what Dreams is? I don't own a VR, so I don't know. Let's do a search. There's a whole bunch of different programs out there for VR modeling and texturing and stuff. And this is not what I thought it was. This is definitely not the Dreams that I thought you were talking about. Isn't there a VR thing? Alright, well, I'm totally on the wrong path. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're sitting in an old PSVR room, old PSVR, I recommend you get a Dreams for 20 bucks. Oh, okay. Let's try this launch trailer. Oops, I just hit the wrong button. Looks cool. Definitely isn't a modeling software. It's definitely on the wrong side of that. Dreams is a virtual sandbox. VR games are on the rise. Eddie says, and you can do it all in VR if you choose. It's that you looked at it. It's a digital creation sandbox. This right now is a digital creation sandbox? He is creating something. But I'm definitely not getting it. It just looks like a puzzle solver. And then all of a sudden we jump over to a scene where it looks like they're modeling. So you are actually able to model in the game as well as play the game. Is that the idea? Flippy Pixel. I think Gary's mod. Oh, okay. Eddie, just look at that. It's 2 made in Dream using PS4 controller. This dude over here. Can post links? Oh, can I post links? I don't think you can. But you can give me something to search with and I can go search it. I think it's more of a platform for VR games. Alright. It's cool, I get it. I mean, I didn't know about it before. We have a whole channel in our Slack. It's dedicated to sculpting VR. So I just assumed you were talking about one of these guys. Gravity Sketch, Quill, Tekken Lab, 10K Labs. I don't know, there's a whole bunch of them. Should put the Dreams one in there. You make 2D, 3D animations, music, game, logic, films, games. Search for Martian. Whoa. Okay, I'll just try to type that in there. Is it going to be a video? Martin. Belong. And is this related to Dreams, I guess? Oh, it's in Slack. Oh, yeah, it is in Slack. Look at that, it's right in front of my face. And I posted it. Wow. I clearly was not putting the connection there. See, I would never have thought that was the same thing that you just showed me in the video. So, totally, totally seeing it in two different ways. That's an oof moment. Yeah. That's true. Oh yeah, so I posted it, and I knew nothing about it. Man, that is an oof moment. Welcome to my life. Well, this one I remember it because he was trying to replicate the Unreal 5 demo. But I mean, when I see Dreams, I just totally not thinking like, oh yeah, it's this, you know, situation where you've got all these like games and stuff happening. I clearly have not done my research for whatever this is. It's cool though. I'm glad we're learning about it because it does seem pretty interesting. So obviously you're getting some nice results here, and that's running on the PS4 as well. Good stuff. Okay. We got 15 minutes to get this done. You guys have any other mic dropping moments for me so I can make a fool of myself? Feel free. Hey, this guy's a CG veteran that uses only Dreams nowadays. Oh, he only uses Dreams. Gonna get a PS5 for work. I like that. Gotta get myself a PS5 for work too. Eddie, for all his freelance work. That's pretty cool. I mean, I think that's a pretty bold statement, really. That means that he's finding more success and more, like, ease using Dreams than he is using, like, ZBrush or something. It's pretty impressive. I don't know how to move this foot. This is going to be a problem. Is that the controller? Oh look, my skinny's not working on the other side. That's not good. Is this where I mirror the skins? No, I gotta mirror it in here. Richard, welcome. Hello, cool rabbit. Yeah, we've got. This is what we're trying to do: is finish this, get this rabbit ready. I had this ambitious thought I was going to be animating it by now, but welcome to rigging, never getting things done when you think you're going to get them done. And he says, Media Molecule that made Dreams won a BAFTA for technical achievement for Dreams the other day. Oh, that's cool. Oh, is it Media Molecule that's making Dreams? Well, that makes sense. Those are the guys that made Big Little Planet, Little Big Planet or whatever. Dreams is going to be huge. It's only been out for a year. So far, 2 years, including beta and early access. Cool. I didn't realize that's what they were working on nowadays. Yeah, that's that makes sense now. Why they're just trying to make this all-in-one encapsulating program that can do games and build things. It's like, it literally is going to be like a all-in-one package. Let's see. Guess from Stroke. Wow, that's cool. Let's try that. Let's see if that fixes this critical issue that I have. Hey, wait, no, that actually is not what I want. It's using the same influence from both feet. Wait, it's moving the controller? No, it's not. How the heck is that not working? Oh boy. Yes, and Tearaway. Oh yeah, Tearaway. I never did play Tearaway. It's that cardboard one. I think that one was successful though, from what I understand. So people are making amazing things. I bet they are, if they have tools like that with their game. Flippy Pixel. Are you gonna get a VR headset? Am I gonna get a VR headset? I don't know. I'm thinking, I'm definitely seriously thinking about it. I mean, I'm definitely gonna one day, I think is the answer. But I don't have a plan to, So my argument is, basically, if I buy a VR headset, I'm never going to actually use it because I'm so busy, and then it's just going to sit there and collect dust. And then by the time I actually do have time to start using it, it's going to be like 2 versions too old. And they change so rapidly in terms of their quality that I don't really want to get invested. I think that's the same argument a lot of people have. But if I did have time, I would have bought one by now. Unfortunately, this has been like the craziest year. It just keeps getting busier and busier. Search for No Juicy's Bell. It's a short film made in Dreams. Quest 2 is cheap. Grab the link cable and use it in Rift mode. Develop with. Intro to Dreams with Simon Warwick. It's the next stream we're gonna do. I mean, to be fair, my streams have really been pushing me to get into all kinds of crazy stuff, which is why I actually really appreciate these streams. But I don't know how to do a stream when you're in VR. I haven't thought about it. It just seems like... Let's see the trailer. It just seems like a really strange situation. Oh, can I see the trailer? That would be really nice if I could just click on it and see the trailer. So you're saying this is all made in Dreams? That means that you can also do animation. Yeah, I've always wondered, like, because Quill has animation capabilities as well, but it's always been like the same looking type of animations where you can tell they're not really getting the privilege of like animating with traditional animation tools. You're kind of animating by just moving geometry around physical space. So a lot of the movements don't have that FK feel, and where you would have like a joint-based rig. So I wonder if this struggles with the same problem. Although the animations are pretty good. But I can see that there was definitely a few points there that were a bit harsh. The thing with Dreams is it's not using polygons at all, and no import of textures or anything. So everything has to be handmade. Flippy Pixel Chris. Ah yes, hey Chris. Sorry, I saw you earlier, Flippy Pixel, and I was thinking you were Sarah. I'm like, wait, it's not Sarah. Who is this again? Who is Flippy Pixel? Oh yeah, Chris. Nice. Awesome. So thanks for joining, by the way, Chris. Great to see you again. Oh, so you're doing a VR course. Nice. I wonder how that's going. I'm really curious. If it's a, do you feel like a VR course works well? Eddie says, it's amazing that what these guys manages to make on 7-year-old hardware with a PS4 controller. Yeah, I suppose it's 7 years already, the PS4. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, actually. So that means no mouse, no keyboard, no mouse, keyboard, or Wacom. And you have to, as you saw, Martin using the PS Move controller. Yeah, I mean, I guess technically the controllers of the PS4 are supposed to be better than your mouse, keyboard, and Wacom, right? So that's the idea. The only problem is you got to come up with an interface that actually lets you find those keys and buttons, and that takes a lot of reinventing of how the process works. Chris says, yeah, it's surprisingly easy to just make VR. Just has some limitations to run the headset. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a few things I'd like to try to do in VR. Especially now that I have some game development experience to be able to make stuff. Eddie, so no doubt there will be Dreams 2 and Dreams PS5 version eventually. Yeah, I bet there will be. They've got some great tools on the PS5 hardware to be able to deal with these kinds of geometry and streaming it in on the fly. Which probably alleviates a lot of the bottlenecks of like loading new shots on the fly, right? Like you can't, it's not pre-recorded video, so it's, if you cut from one camera to another, it's got to like load that entire environment on the fly. That's probably a big limitation. Eddie says no doubt. Oh yes, you read that already. Sony has a 10-year plan for Dreams. Wow, 10-year plan. That is impressive. I haven't done anything for a long time here. Let me see if I can at least maybe solve this issue here. I think we're in pretty good shape for what we're gonna be able to do next week, which I'm gonna have the rig ready and we're gonna be like animating. I'm gonna have to set up the camera shot and do an animation. I think that should be doable, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to that this week with 8 minutes. Let's just see if we can solve this skinning problem and make sure that we can at least talk about that. Go back to painting. We need the left foot. Blame P&Q says blame the chat. Sorry, I like the chat. It's fun. Makes my job a lot easier. Just casually talking instead of actually like trying to figure out problems all the time. All right, so this is gonna be the right foot. Man, this is tough without the hierarchy. And what was it called? It was like the toe? Maybe they're not, maybe the joints are not included in here. Maybe that's why it's not working. Toes right. We have toes left. Is there like a search feature or something? Man, this is not easy to use. It's possible that the toes left is not in this list. Which sucks, because that means we gotta either manually add it or go back and try to fix that issue, which means you gotta break it all down again. Rip it apart. And then my skinning that I've done has to be rescued, which may or may not be worth rescuing. So it's better to fix this before I get too deep into this. But the joint themselves, let's see if they actually exist or not. If I can find the skeleton. Where the heck is it? This group main? There it is. Tails, toes. Toes 2. Oh wait, that's not actually the skeleton. That's the reference. Wow, they've got it really totally different in here now. That's mid-construction here. Because that's supposed to be moving with the foot there. Unless, maybe the problem is it's the left foot that moves it. Oh, I never thought of that. It's the left toe. We got ankle, toes. Oh, look, there's no other foot. We got 2 arms. We didn't get the feet mirrored over. That's what happened. Eddie says, so there's lots of people who seem to think the reason there's not been a real marketing push for Dreams yet is because they think Media Molecule kind of released it as an open test. A lot of development for just an open test, but maybe they really do have this long road though. He says, and then as the PS5 version comes out, they'll be going all on the marketing. Ah, I see. Yeah, but I mean, even like, yeah, it's true. I mean, even with Big Little Planet, it was like, Little Big Planet. Its life was really after the game was released. It became its real true success. It's that community that happened that kind of grew. And I mean, you can see the same parallels with all kinds of online games, like with like Roblox. The fact that all these communities are developing the games, and it's really showing its strength nowadays, even though it's been around forever. So maybe they're hoping for the same thing. They just kind of, put it out quietly, and then let the community kind of test it, and get the kinks out, and then when they're ready, they do a big release. Makes sense. I can definitely see that driving more PS5 sales anyways. You have like such a nice strong feature like that, and you have the hardware to back it up. Last 2 minutes, I have discovered a major problem. I will have to go back to the previous setup. I'm not sure if there's any way to undo it. I think the only way to really do it is to go back into the previous loads. And so I'm not really going to be able to get that done very effectively. But I think the big crash happened when I made the mistake of picking the foot in the wrong order. Or maybe it's because those are the joints that were skinned to the extra group. So yeah, I got to do a little more R&D, because it's possible that it's this second group here that got ignored from the skeleton when I did the full skinning. So I'll have to look into that. That could be a major drawback. But anyway, so be it. That's how it goes when you're rigging. You never make it work the first time always. And let's see what we got here. We got Andy says, do you think some simple animations as you paint skin weights? If not, that's a good idea. Yeah, no, you're right. At this stage, I could just start animating and then come back and fix the skin weights. However, this is a rather devastating problem where the right foot makes the left foot move. So you could never really do a proper animation because you'd always be like, that other foot doesn't do anything. It's just screwed up. But unfortunately, this one does require going back and fixing it. But yeah, the paint skin weights, if I did actually want to recover it, there's a way to copy skin weights from one mesh to the next. I could have recovered it, but I don't think I need to. It only took me a few minutes to like to make those corrections I put in there, and so that's not a big deal. Audrey says that's like downloading something at 99% something happens. Yes, that's exactly what it feels like. We're definitely in that realm right now. Eddie says just like animating the rotations of a leg or so you don't have to leave paint mode to rotate it. Or are we talking about the previous thing? Yeah, oh, the animations for the testing of the skinning. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I could import a whole test. We did usually do that in production sometimes. We'd have like a test animation you just import in, and it would just move all the limbs in certain ways and save you from having to do it over and over again if you do lots of characters. You'd have to have a shared skeleton, though, at that point. And B&J says, yeah, you could see the keys, which I assume is meaning the thing we're talking about. Jaren. Wow, Jaren. How long have you been animating for? I always get these questions right at the last minute. Thanks for joining us, by the way, Jaren. I really appreciate it. Fortunately, we're at the right at the stream here. I've been animating for, I think I got, my first job in the industry was 2005. And I guess I went to college for school in 2000, or was it 2001? So it's been quite a lot of years now. And but I'm a technical animator, so my job is spread across a whole bunch of different spectrums. So animation, even though I really like doing it and it's fun, isn't really something that I practice on a daily basis like other animators do. So it's just everybody specializes in their own thing, and it's hard to just how it goes. Audrey says, since the beginning of the stream, at least. Yeah. The beginning of time, when the stream started. That's how long it's been, for sure. Alright, I better wrap it up. Thanks for everybody who joined me. I guess I could have switched this over a long time ago. It was a great stream today. Lots of fun talking to everybody. Lots of good stuff learned. Hey Chris, welcome. Thanks for joining us as well. And we will. I'll be back again next week to finish off this rabbit, and we'll make sure we're ready to go so that we can actually get a finished product in and have some fun rabbits bouncing around. All right, so I'll leave it there, and I'll see you guys again next week. See you, Audrey. Cheers, everybody.